continues to roll through what's been a super rookie season. The defenseman has 30 points. Nick Bjugstad lit up Anaheim for 2 goals and 4 points, and the Panthers win out west. The Ducks repay the visit tonight, led by Corey Perry. The Panthers and Ducks do battle next. Live from the BB&T Center in Sunrise, Panthers hockey is on the air. Tonight, the Cats go for points in a 4th straight game. Veterans Roberto Luongo and Ilya Bryzgalov go in goal as the Panthers try to sweep the season series from the second-best team in the league, the Ducks. For Florida, trying to chase down a playoff spot, the Panthers with 2 games in hand on the 8th-place Boston Bruins. 6 points behind. Those 2 teams will play 3 more times. The Bruins tonight in action, hosting Dallas. The task at hand here in Sunrise. This game, along with Hall of Famer Denny Potvin. I'm Steve Goldstein, and Denny for the Panthers. They get a lineup change tonight. These healthy bodies really forcing the hand of Coach Gerard Gallant. 2 more in, 2 more out this evening.
Well, it's been a little bit of a rotation all season long, just like you're indicating. But I think in tonight's hockey game, there's a little bit more of a purpose to that. You've got Scotty Upshall and Thomas Kopetsky that have played well, but as we've said so many times, healthy bodies always gives the coach a lot of options. And tonight he wants to go with guys who, well, admittedly, will play a little more of an aggressive game. Sean Thornton, of course, had played 48 games with the Anaheim Ducks and was part of that Stanley Cup winning team. Maybe a little motivation against a former team. But all in all, we expect this to be a physical game, and the Panthers have to win those battles if they're going to win the hockey game.
Captain Willie Mitchell still day-to-day with an injury, so he's out of the lineup tonight. Cleveland Clinic has our players to watch. A pair on D. I know you're enjoying watching Goodbranson and Kulikov together.
You know what? It's not a question of I like them or I just like to watch them play. They absolutely have impressed us as the way they've been playing. Now, this is a D pair that hasn't played together all season long. Now you see Kulikov play on the right side. He moves to the left side, showing versatility. They have both shown certain amount of strength. And take a look at Goodbranson hitting and making contact with the body, using his size. And you know what? Assertive. And that's a word that we hope to use in describing their play tonight. They're going to have to be assertive. And here's why. Take a look all the way down. Take a look at the size of this top line of the Anaheim Ducks. In my conversation with Bruce Boudreau, the coach, this morning, he said, our asset is that we're big, we're strong, and we can move. But I will say, back in November, and this is Bruce Boudreau said, we're very surprised at the Florida Panthers' speed. So a little bit of speed, good physicality could be in the works for the Florida Panthers if they want to win tonight.
We've heard a lot of that this season.
Yeah.
We certainly have. All right, when we come back, something special for you. We go inside the locker room, and we'll hear from the Panthers coaches mic'd up as the team readies for tonight's matchup against Anaheim. You'll hear it next. On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by your South Florida Lexus dealers. Proud sponsor of the Lexus Rink at the BB&T Center. By ADT, the most trusted name in security. Call 1-800-510-9067 for your free ADT quote. And by Subway. Visit Subway.com. Subway, skate hard, eat fresh. Just about set for face-off. The Cats hosting the Ducks. Let's take a look and listen moments ago in the Panthers locker room.
Okay, hard and short shifts of everybody working together as a team. And Buck supporting all 5 zones. Working hard, competing hard, playing together. Well, let's go. Big game tonight. Big effort again. Up front, Peary, Boley, Flash. Whoa! Back end, Cooley and Goody. Flash! And Lou in the pipes. Smoke! That's it. That's...
I'm Sasha Barkov.
2-on-1 develops. It's boys with Barkov. The pass, the shot, the goal!
Real Panthers fans, watch Fox Sports Florida.
For John Madden in the dressing room, so you know who's starting tonight for the Panthers on the ice. As the Cats wrap up this quick 3-game homestand, a win would give them 5 out of 6 points. And goaltenders, a couple of vets, brought to us by BB&T.
Well, it has not been all that great a year for Bryzgalov. I'm talking about personally. There you see, only 7 games played. The record is not high, but with the injury to their number 1 Anderson, they decided to go to Bryzgalov based on, well, he had a pretty good game in Washington a few days ago. So, for Roberto Luongo, back in goal, making his 3rd consecutive start. And Roberto has only allowed 2 goals in each of the last 2 games. But unfortunately, the goal support has not quite been there. Of course, he's had the victory against the Los Angeles Kings and the shootout loss in the last game versus Nashville.
So here we go. Dave Boland's line begins with Peary and Fleischman. They've been solid together of late. And Goodbranson ahead for Fleischman. Fowler flips it back the other way. Panthers beat the Ducks in November. 6-2 in Anaheim. Boland moves in. Holding, putting it in front, deflected wide by Fleischman. Brandon Peary went right off the ice and into the dressing room. Apparently something bothering him right off the bat.
He's holding his left arm. This was such an innocent play. Just a bump at center ice, and he immediately went to the bench. They immediately went to the dressing room. At this point, it does not look good. Brandon Peary really holding his left arm.
Barkov now. It comes back up high. Ekblad settles it down. Boys moves it along for Huberdeau. These 3 have been good of late as well. Barkov, Huberdeau, and Boys together. Barkov double-teamed in the clear, so we'll get a report there on Peary. See what happens. He's been red hot. Goals in 4 of his last 5 games and 9 on the season for Brandon Peary.
You know, we showed you the top line and how heavy and big they are. Brandon Peary just made contact with Getzlaf, and he went right off the ice.
Kessler moves in. The backhander wide on his former Vancouver teammate, Roberto Luongo. Kessler traded by the Ducks from Vancouver in this offseason, this past summer. Bjugstad on the ice. He had 2 goals and 2 assists in that win in Anaheim back in November.
You know, that was when Bruce Boudreau telling us, as I mentioned in the open, they were really surprised as a team at the speed of the Florida Panthers. So this is what they need to bring tonight. They need to bring speed, and they have to accept the fact that it's going to be a physical game.
Raquel behind the Panther net puts it in front. Jokinen was positioned well. Bjugstad.
Sadly enough, already we have seen the results of playing physical against a big team. Brandon Peary on the first shift collided with Getzlaf, and he's in the dressing room.
Raquel with a drop pass, sharp angle shot, gloved by Luongo for our first whistle of the game. Let's take a look at what happened on the opening shift, Denny.
Well, interestingly enough, the Boland line was the choice of Gerard Gallant to start. There you look, right in the middle of your screen. It is just an innocent contact. This is not a guy targeting anybody. The puck has moved away. Getzlaf is turning his back. Otherwise, it would have certainly been an interference. Incidental contact at center ice, and Peary went directly to the room.
Fowler shoots, saved by Luongo. The rebound cleared away. It's Bergenheim, Thornton, and McKenzie. Bergenheim and Thornton, as we told you, back in the lineup after missing a few games as scratches. Thornton wearing one of the A's tonight. 3 A's for the Panthers without the captain, Willie Mitchell. An icing call here on Anaheim. Let's get our Lexus keys to tonight's game.
You know what, I tell you, in talking with Gerard Gallant this morning, he understood they had a good game in Anaheim, a dominant game, scoring 6 goals. But tonight, use your speed. Shots on Bryzgalov has only had 7 appearances this year for Anaheim, and there's that match the physical play as another key to the game. And right away, we've seen the reverberations of trying to match a physical play. A much smaller Brandon Peary coming into contact with Getzlaf.
Panthers won the draw, got a couple of shots away, and then force Anaheim to shoot all the way down, and another icing.
And the big thing in this game, the start, Denny, the first period, the Anaheim Ducks are 25-1-6 when they score first, 17-0-3 when they lead after the first period. Only team in the NHL that hasn't lost in regulation when they lead after the first.
75 points on the season for this team, and I tell you what, this guy's done a lot. He has been the coach in Anaheim that has reached 100 victories quicker than any coach in franchise history. Bruce Boudreau, outstanding in Washington, and doing the same thing here in Anaheim.
Ekblad going to slide down the wall and pinch, keeping the play alive. Bergenheim battling Beauchemin. Nate Thompson, former member of the Tampa Bay Lightning, found the puck, turned it over at the line. And Beauchemin throws it cross ice, and now the Ducks are out. But again, it comes all the way down. A third straight icing call.
Things don't get all that easy, you know, because you're having a lot of success during the season. There's always that big thing, that void, that playoffs. What are you going to do for me in the playoffs? Bob Murray, the general manager of the Anaheim Ducks, a few weeks ago, and I read this in the newspaper, he said, well, it's going to be all on our coach because our power play and specialty teams have not been good in past playoffs. Oh. Best team in the NHL during the season, but that's not enough. And that's living in hockey world when you're ready to win.
Point shot here, deflected by Perry, and it just went wide. Corey Perry with the puck again, give to Getzlaf. Perry one more time, and a nice knockdown there by Dmitry Kulikov, who clears the center. It bounced on Bergenheim. Kulikov sweeps in, able to play it, knocked down, and a penalty on the Ducks.
Number 10, Anaheim, 2 minutes tripping.
Well, it's certainly no angel. Perry comes into contact. There you see there Kulikov taking him down. Perry with 41 minutes and penalties coming in to this hockey game, going to the box for a minor. Florida Panthers an opportunity to get on the board first with their power play.
Bukestad will take the draw. He won it with the help from Hayes. Huberdeau quickly set up. Puts it in front for Hayes. Now Bukestad, or Barkov shot. Had it stopped by Brizgalov. Panthers with the 4 forwards and Ekblad, and they've done this many times with this alignment. They win that faceoff, Denny, and quickly they get an opportunity.
Well, let me talk hockey talk and be like general managers.
Oh, a turnover here. Huberdeau to the goal line. Barkov blocked away by Fowler. And now Hayes with a chance. Couldn't get a shot off, though.
GM hockey talk. Oh, it's all very pretty, Goldie, but there's no goal.
That's true.
The great plays have to result in a goal.
No question. It's about the production.
No power play goals for the Panthers in the last 2 games. And we told you the record, 2 very strong teams, LA and Nashville. And the Florida Panthers have not been able to connect. And we know the other night against Nashville, it could have been a 3-0 hockey game. And they've been able to connect on the power play. And that may have changed the fact that the Panthers could have had that killer instinct and sealed the game early. And as we all know, Nashville came back with 2 power play goals of their own in the 3rd period and 1 in the shootout.
Kulikov and Campbell now on for Florida. And Jokinen as well, and he has the puck sweeping in. Kulikov settles it down for Campbell. Now it's Brad Boyes. Campbell at the line. Kulikov with a one-timer. Misses wide. Carries back up to Campbell. Down low again. Bolin in front. Jokinen comes all the way through to the point. Kulikov again. A one-timer score! A bullet by Kulikov. How's that production, Potvin? Better?
I love it. I love it. Give it to me. Make me be quiet on the no-goal situation on the power play. This was obviously a situation where Kulikov missed the net the first time. Another very, very similar setup. You got to wonder about the Anaheim Ducks. There you see the Ducks being somewhat out of position. Getzlaf is not anywhere near Kulikov, so he gives him a second chance at the one-timer. This time Kulikov did not miss the net.
Getzlaf collapsed down to help out on that forward. Jokinen, as soon as he did that, left Kulikov wide open at the point. And what a bomb. Just blew it by Brizgalov.
Billy Getzlaf must have thought that somebody wasn't going to be able to do their job down low. Why did he go down that low?
When you do that and you try and do other players' jobs, that's when things break down on the penalty kill. No excuse to go down that low, and good for Kulikov. He made him pay.
Particularly when Kulikov was so wide open the first time. You know, you think you would realize that and not let him get that second shot. Identical play, but this time Kulikov hit the net.
Dave Bolin got the second assist, and Al Fleischman throws it over to the boards. Barkov after it, rolls to the line. Kampfer able to hold it in, but the Ducks able to work it free. Kulikov's second of the year. Dave Bolin's been hitting the score sheet of late. And a pretty decent clip. And that Panther power play able to cash in for the lead for Luongo.
Now they just need to be berated a little bit, you know?
Puck was played with a high stick. We got to stop it. Here we go. It's Thornton and Jackman. A little rough stuff here in the first. Thornton back in the Florida lineup. Chomping at the bit he's been.
You know, Jackman is the tough guy on the other team, and I'll tell you what, they're down by a goal, and Jackman's coming out. Now's the time to try and settle things, and Jackman is hoping that he does well in this fight. We'll see how it goes. But Thornton is certainly a tough customer, a guy who, by the way...
Thornton caught him good there as both helmets came off.
A former Duck, John Thornton, won a cup with that team, and now he won the first fight of this game.
Sean Thornton's back in the lineup. Dmitry Kulikov's back on the score sheet, and the Panthers are off and running in Sunrise. Panthers have the lead 1-0 over the Anaheim Ducks. Let's go down to Billy.
Anaheim is second in the NHL, largely in part because what they've been able to do in one-goal games. They are 23-0-7 on the season, and games decided by one goal. 23 of their 34 games they've won have been by one goal. You can see since 2012 and 13, 64-6-2. That is simply outrageous. Guys, the Anaheim Ducks have a plus 14 goal differential. That is only good for 12th in the NHL, and they are second in the standings, and it's largely in part they've won all those one-goal games, and the Panthers have played 6 straight games at home, decided by one goal. The Panthers trying to turn that tide.
Well, if it's one goal on the plus side, I guess they'll take it. There's a look at the combatants, Thornton and Jackman in the box. 5 each for fighting, so a lot going on in the opening 7 minutes of this hockey game.
Well, Thornton inserted in the game. We talked about the fact that Jared Gallant knew that there needs to be a physical response in this game. Thornton had not dressed for the last 3 games and went in and did his job here early in the first period.
Branson hustles after a puck, takes a shot, it rolls towards the net. Boland along the boards, Bergenheim joins in. So Bergenheim now taking that spot. Brandon Peary, an apparent injury on the opening shift. We haven't seen him again. So Bergenheim now with Boland and Fleischman.
Pretty experienced line right there, and Boland started against Getzlaf right from the faceoff. So you know that when the opening faceoff, you have a matchup like that. Jared Gallant is doing it on purpose. He has the last change, being the coach on home ice.
Getzlaf comes in tonight, 6th in the NHL in points. Panthers able to get a clear. Ekblad pokes it further along. Bukestad loses Kessler. He was tripped up. And they don't get a call there, unfortunately. Good move by Bukestad, walking off the wall.
And Denny, you'd love to see the Panthers test Brzgalov as much as possible. When his confidence shaken, you know over the past, it can go south in a hurry. Struggled on the air. You need to get every puck towards the net.
You know, Billy, that's a good point. I talked to Dwayne Rollison, the goaltending coach for these Ducks, and he's a little concerned, and mostly about something we all know. Brzgalov, he can be either really hot or really cold, or he can just click during the game. He's a guy that talks about the atmosphere a lot, the universe a lot.
Not quite sure if he's from this planet.
Yeah, that's something. That sounds like a quote of his, right?
It does. He's had some beauties over the years.
Well, everybody learned about him when the Flyers played the Winter Classic in the 24/7. And the cameras were around the Flyers all that time. Philly wound up buying him out of that big, long contract. The Panthers have one by him, and here comes a 3-on-2. Huberdeau down the wing, head up, looking for a trailer, but it's deflected away from Boyes. Boyes now throws it towards the net, cut off by Raquel.
That's a shot Huberdeau has to take down the wing. You got players driving to the net.
Yeah, the point you just made. You got to get any shots you can. Just get him, because first he's got to stop the puck, Brzgalov, and then he's got to control his rebound. That's what we're always saying.
Boland's in. Huberdeau again. Let's fly this time. It deflected high and wide.
Every shot can create 2 opportunities.
Getzlaf fires in. Perry chopped at it. Puck deflects high and does go out of play. Baptist Health presents tonight's scratches for Gerard Gallant, Kopetsky, Upshaw, the healthy scratches tonight with the 14 forwards and Captain Willie Mitchell. Still day-to-day with an injury. Hopefully he will be back soon on that Florida blue line.
You know, 5-on-5 is going to be a very important part. So leave aside the fact that the Panthers have scored a power play goal, their first down the last 3 games. That is an ultra positive. We all know that. But 5-on-5, interestingly enough, the Panthers have a slightly better record than the Anaheim Ducks. Now, the Anaheim Ducks, 75 points on the season. Only Nashville has more. So they've been finding ways to score goals, to win games that we talked about earlier. They win a lot of one-goal games. All in all, they're a team that can battle all 60 minutes.
Mix and match line here. As we said, Peary left on the first shift and Thornton in the penalty box. So the Panthers right now down 2 forwards. Thornton in there for the fight. It's McKenzie on with Boland and Fleischmann. And McKenzie clears ahead. Past Fleischmann, though. And that's an icing on Florida. Upcoming shows at the BB&T Center include Chris Brown on Thursday night. No, Denny, if we were in town, we'll be in Minnesota. You'd like to see Trey Songz yourself. A little wrestling coming up later on in the month. And Maroon 5 Ticketmaster has your tickets. Panthers and the Wild here on Fox Sports Florida Thursday night from Frosty, Minnesota.
Yes, I would come because this is the greatest venue in North America.
We got a hook, Denny. And in this venue, we're going to have a second power play for the Panthers coming up.
Number 39, Kurtz.
I know you like to mention his name, Frederic Lecuyer, the referee tonight, one of the 2 referees making the call.
Hang on now. You got to say that with a little more French accent. I'm not letting you off the hook with that.
Lecuyer.
A little better. I mean, your French.
Frederick is a little off, though.
You went with David Jackson last game and made him French. I mean, you got to give me a little better with Freddie Lucaille. Here's Bukestad off the faceoff. Another power play for Florida. What an opportunity here. Barkov. Huberdeau to Ekblad, and the one-timer deflected into the corner. And the Ducks able to get out. Ryan Kesler, they give to Getzlaf. The captain of the Anaheim Ducks. What a player over the years.
You know, in warm-up, Luongo likes to stretch at center ice, and Getzlaf came over. I'm sure said, hello, how are you, the old Olympian teammate.
And another penalty, and is this one going to be on? Well, let's see. They're sorting it out.
Too many men on the ice. You got it, Denny. Correct.
Yeah.
Over to the bench.
That is tough. That is a tough call against the bench.
Anaheim, bench minor, 2 men on the ice.
Well, you talk about the opportunity, guys, getting even bigger now for the Panthers.
All right, well, let's count them out. There's 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of your screen, and 2 guys on the right side of your screen right over here. And obviously, you're not 5 feet. There's about 5 or 6 feet the referee will give you the leeway, but that was a change quite a bit too early. Referees are not fooling around tonight.
Huge opportunity for the Panthers. 5-on-3. Kulikov throws it behind the net. And Boland got it to Boys. Panthers set up. Here's Brian Campbell. Boys, Campbell, Kulikov. He has the Florida goal on the power play. Kulikov's got it straight on. Holds. The give to Jokinen. Looking in front. Goes for Campbell up high. Kulikov again. Will fire save Brizgalov, and he covers. 56 seconds left in the 2-man advantage.
It's interesting how seldom a 5-on-3 will connect when you think it should be almost automatic. But the passes are a little soft. I like to see something quick and a shot, quick and a shot. That is where you're going to get the goaltender moving, and then those legs will open up. The shot from Kulikov, excellent. Right towards the 5-hole, between the legs. But Brizgalov never had to move. And so he was able to pick that shot up pretty quickly.
Barkov, Hayes, Huberdeau, Bukestad, Ekblad, and Barkov tossed from the circle. So Bukestad will step in. Huge draw here in the offensive zone. And Kesler was able to win it.
He's a tough competitor, Kesler. Florida Panthers overall, 1 goal while 5 on 3 so far this season.
Bjugstad down the wing, back for Ekblad. Knocked away and cleared again.
That is a case of just not moving the puck quickly enough. You only have 3 defenders who've got plenty of white ice, plenty of lanes to use, but they have to be used quickly and often.
Puck was touched with a high stick, Billy. That's the whistle.
Even though it's early, this is a huge opportunity in this for this Panther team.
Yeah, no
Put
question.
another one on the board right here against Anaheim. They've struggled, giving up a lot of goals, lost 2 straight on the road.
Well, to your point about getting those shots on Bryzgalov, who has struggled this year. 5 on 3 advantage. They'd like to start peppering them. They lose it at center, though. And the 5 on 3 with 20 to go. Huberdeau. Barkov is in now. Plays it around the boards. Jimmy Hayes pops it over to Huberdeau. Now they're set up. Ekblad. Hayes is out in front. Ekblad holding to give to Huberdeau. Takes a shot that's blocked. Huberdeau's got it again. Final seconds of the 5 on 3. Ekblad waiting. Puts it in front. Chipped wide. Huberdeau now in a 5 on 4 advantage. Bolesky out of the box. Ekblad over to Bjugstad. Deflects over to Huberdeau again. Looking for Hayes, knocked away. Bjugstad sweeps it around the boards for Huberdeau one more time. In front, Hayes over to Bjugstad. Kicks it to his tape and he scores! Bjugstad!
The lengthy power play, the Florida Panthers made it work. In the end, it was a bench minor penalty for too many men on the ice that created the opportunity. And what I tell you about the getting the puck off quickly. Too many passes. Panthers were not able to get any shots away from the high slot, meaning like the Kulikov goal. But they did get a chance to get the Anaheim Ducks running around somewhat. And the guy who has had a wonderful time against Anaheim, Bjugstad, scores again.
He had 2 goals and 4 points in that earlier meeting this year in November. The Panthers won 6-2. Got a goal there, his 18th of the year. And for all of last year, he scored 16. This is second full season in the NHL. And the Panthers' power play goes 2 for 3. Early on, Jimmy Hayes gets another assist. That's 4 points in his last 4 games.
Wasn't the prettiest looking power play, but all's well that ends well.
Yeah, they don't ask how, do they?
You know what ends up being a broken play that turns out where the puck's on the skate.
And that was not a good goal by Bryzgalov. That's one the goalie should have had.
Well, again, not to sound like a broken record, but like you guys are referring to, you've got to just fire away at Bryzgalov right now. So the Panthers add to the lead, huge. First it was Kulikov and then Bjugstad. Derek McKenzie shoots in. Huberdeau after the puck. Banging at the end boards is Huberdeau. Corey Perry stolen away by Huberdeau. Takes a shove. Sean Thornton steps in. So Huberdeau grabbing the shift on this line now. Thornton back after the fight. Still haven't seen Peary, who left the ice in the first shift of the game. Huberdeau out-battles Corey Perry to put it in front. Thornton. Huberdeau again. In front again, the shot, and saved by Bryzgalov on Thornton. One more time for Huberdeau. What a shift for him. Petrovic makes a move, takes a shot, deflected wide, went off the skates of Lovejoy, the Ducks defenseman. The Panthers smelling some blood, pushing here. They're on it again with Bjugstad. Looking. Little too far for Jokinen, but he'll hustle in after it. And Jokinen's got it. Up high Campbell, but it just came out of the zone, offside on Florida. What a start for the Panthers. Kulikov and then Bjugstad, and they're up by 2.
Back at the BB&T Center where Nick Bjugstad and Dmitry Kulikov each have a power play goal, and the Cats are up 2-0 as the Florida Panthers close out the homestand here tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. We'll take a look at the JetBlue road ahead for the Panthers. Going on what could be referred to as the North Stars trip, taking a visit to Minnesota against the Wild, who've been charging lately, getting into that, maybe into the playoff picture in the West, then Dallas, and then at home against the big St. Louis Blues, guys.
All right, we look forward to. We'll have them all for you on Fox Sports Florida. The Panthers have not allowed a shot in 10 minutes. And Smith-Pelly now takes one. And there it is on cue. I got to learn to be quiet, don't I? My goodness. Brizgalov played around the boards. Hayes is there. Fanned on the shot attempt, though. Jonathan Huberdeau got an assist on that Bukestad goal, his 20th of the year. That's a career high for Huberdeau.
Yep.
This is a very modest third season. Of course, one of those was a shortened season with the work stoppage. And the Panthers, since the All-Star break, when they changed that power play around, the alignment, 8 games played, 7 power play goals, and they've scored multi-goals twice, including tonight. Here's Barkov for the chance, blocked away in front. So the power play change has really worked for Florida. Jackman rides that flat of the end boards, but a 19-year-old rookie able to play it ahead for Huberdeau.
Anaheim does not seem to be mentally sharp to start this game either. The bench penalty, couple of bad penalties between the ears. Anaheim's not really right there watching it from ice level. Just kind of sluggish.
And the Panthers have 2 on them.
Well, they didn't do so well in Tampa Bay the other night either, so this is a team that has not lost in regulation 2 times in a row very often this year.
Yeah, not since
only twice.
November.
Yeah.
Well, everybody goes through the ups and downs. You know, it's such a long season.
Particularly this team, as we talked about, in the Pacific Division. Well, they're just guaranteed a playoff spot with like 28 games remaining. 12 points ahead of the closest rival in their division.
First time they've had the puck in the Panther zone for a little while in a long time. Now Campbell able to rattle it around and get it out.
Well, Calgary doing well, but
chance for Perry to give to Getzlaf. Oh, try to pass in front, knocked away by the skate of Campbell.
how about that? Getzlaf not shooting in a great shooting position.
And then Maroon just lost the puck in front.
Yeah.
The Panthers, though, wind up icing the puck. Next home game for the Panthers is this Sunday, another one of those big guns in the West. The St. Louis Blues at 5 o'clock. Then the road trip, a big one. 5 games, then back home. 15 of the last 20 games are here at the BB&T Center. Get your tickets at FloridaPanthers.com. Oshman fires, blocked by Bergenheim. Kessler got it to the Panther line, but turned away by Kulikov. Bergenheim takes the hit, but the Ducks able to take the puck. And sent on goal by Bolesky. Luongo will cover. The Panthers have 2 goals and Sean Thornton back in the lineup. Yeah, that hurts. Superstar, a pair of power play goals for Gerard Gallant's team, but on the first shift of the game, Brandon Pirri was injured, an upper body injury, and he will not return, Denny.
You know, this was really incidental contact. You can see right there the pass was made. It's not really a hit. Pirri saw him coming, but we talked about the huge size of Getzlaf, and you saw the expression on Brandon Pirri. He immediately went to the bench, immediately to the dressing room, and we were told, obviously, upper body injury. He will not be back this game.
So 11 forwards. We're seeing a lot of mixing and matching here. Of course, Thornton did spend 5 minutes in the box for the fight. Thornton now with Bergenheim and McKenzie, and they quickly get it down into the Duck zone.
Yeah, you see Huberdeau already has got more shifts than any other winger on the team, so Gerard Gallant is going to lean on Huberdeau to play a little double shifting there to cover for Brandon Pirri.
7.5 minutes already for Huberdeau. Not even through the first. Bergenheim working in front, trying to get the backhander away. It's chipped wide. Good effort down low by Bergenheim. Paul Mary sends it up the wing. Eric Goodbranson played it beautifully. Down low, now a chance for Kessler, robbed by Luongo. Big stop there by Roberto, his best of the night so far. Kessler again. Ducks with a little push now. Offensively, Ryan Kessler controls and feeds the point. Here's Vatanen. Deflected away by McKenzie. Shoved towards the net. Loose in front now, and Jokinen backhands, couldn't get it out. Fowler for Palmieri. Puts it right in front of the Panther net. The backhander, Luongo the save. Pressure by Anaheim, and now a penalty on the Panthers.
I'll tell you what, this is all resulting of a pee-wee backhand by Jokinen. Oh, my goodness.
Number 44, Florida, Turrets, Puck.
UC Jokinen had the puck just inside the blue line. Couldn't get it out on a backhand. This is a resulting play. Continued puck possession by the Anaheim Ducks. And then you're going to see the takedown, and Florida Panthers will now be looking at killing a penalty with actually the remaining 2 minutes of the period.
Getzlaf off the wall, down low, out in front. The shot by Maroon, stopped by Luongo. Getzlaf again. Cross ice feed. Raquel deflected, back to Getzlaf though, puts it out in front. The hit by Bolin negated the scoring chance by Perry. Raquel finds it. And around again for Getzlaf.
Bolin got a stick in the face and he wasn't happy. Got to make sure he doesn't retaliate.
Getzlaf up high. Perry trying to get to the front of the net. Now he peels off to the side. He's got the puck. Corey Perry for Vatanen. Perry again. Ekblad was right there. Then Perry shoots and it goes wide. Brian Campbell looking to clear. Vatanen held it in again. Campbell on another try gets it out. Jokinen hustling after it. And then thought better of it.
At 45 in white, Vatanen's got 7 power play goals. That's tied for the league lead as a defenseman.
Getzlaf carrying, throws it down low again for Perry. Back again for Getzlaf. In front, save by Luongo. Camper working on Raquel. Barkov in there as well. Puck still free along the boards. Perry's away with it. Vatanen again. Takes a look. Blocked by Kulikov. Perry behind the net. Looking in front. Maroon was covered well. Corey Perry one more time. Circling with it. Put in front for Getzlaf. Oh, Luongo came over and read the play and made the save.
Now Getzlaf certainly looking to try and get back. Remember, he was the one that missed his coverage on the Kulikov goal. And Getzlaf, you'll see coming to the outside. The idea to score goals, try and get lost in the offensive zone. Find that wide ice, and the puck is passed underneath Kulikov. I think that was even deflected right there. It looked, I didn't see that on first view, but it looked like it went off of Fleischmann's stick and into the belly pad of Roberto Luongo.
The Ducks now, you see the 11 shots on goal. They were silent for much of the period. They've perked up. Palmieri down low. And out of the point it comes for Beauchemin. Here's Kessler shooting, blocked by Ekblad. Kessler again all the way through the slot. It's out. The Panthers get out of it on the PK. And they get out of the first with a 2-0 lead. The Panthers, by a big margin, Denny, win the special teams battle in the first.
You know, we often talk about timely goals. Well, the Florida Panthers did exactly that. Only twice for the second time this year. They've got multiple power play goals. They got them both in the first period. These are timely goals. And as I've often said, power play production like you have today really energizes the whole bench.
Last save of that period, the 22,999th of Roberto Luongo's career, Drew. The next one will be 23 grand. What do we have coming up in the first intermission?
Well, that'll be quite the milestone, which we would imagine would be coming up during the second period, but coming up during the Lexus Intermission Report. Taking a look at the inside the Panthers on Aaron Ekblad. We'll show you a little bit about Aaron Ekblad's hockey career so far. Plus, it is Black History Month, and Fox Sports Florida continues to honor Black History Month. And we'll take a look at all the highlights and analysis from a period that saw the Cats post 2 power play goals. Goldie, back to you.
Thanks, Drew. The goal scorers, Kulikov and Bukestad, and the Panthers lead after 20. Panthers hockey on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by South Florida Ford. Visit us at southfloridaford.com. And by Doctors Hospital for orthopedics and sports medicine. Visit us online at baptisthealth.net/ortho. The Panthers trying to wrap up the homestand against some of the best in the West. The win would mean 5 out of 6 points on the homestand in Sunrise. Pair of power play goals as Florida knock it out the Ducks. They are enjoying it tonight here at the BB&T Center. The Panthers with goals in the first on the power play from Dmitry Kulikov and Nick Bjugstad, that young core continues to produce for the Panthers, but they got a veteran back in the lineup tonight, Denny. Sean Thornton's wearing an A, and he had an impact in the first period.
You know what? You got two veteran NHLers, okay? Gerard Gallant makes the decision of getting Sean Thornton in the lineup against a difficult, tough team. So the Florida Panthers score first, right, on the power play. Well, Jackman from Anaheim does his job. He goes on the ice just a little over a minute later. It's a 1-0 lead for the Florida Panthers. Now he is trying to win that fight and give the momentum back to his team. Not going to happen. So that was huge for the fight part of his game. And look at Thornton, right side of your screen. Take a look. There he is getting a really good opportunity a couple of shifts later. So the decision to put him in the lineup, had not dressed in 3 games. And then again, the work of the veteran pugilist as well as fourth-line player. He gets a scoring chance. Bodes well for the Florida Panthers. You don't want to lose the fight, right, Goldie, when you're ahead by 1.
And, you know, you love the attitude of Thornton. I talked to him the other day and hadn't played in a few games. He goes, you know what, though? I mean, he's dying to get back in the lineup. He goes, he said to me, as long as the team is winning, I'm okay. And the guy Thornton is. Ducks had a good push offensively, including on a power play late in the first, so the 11-5 shot advantage for him. By the way, on the scoreboard, the Boston Bruins trailing Dallas tonight, 4-3 up in Boston in the second as we get a whistle.
Oh, 4-3. Already 4 goals by Dallas.
Yeah.
Would they have a 3-1 lead or 3-0 lead at one point?
3-1 Dallas, and then it was 3-3, and now 4-3 Dallas. The Stars have 2 shorthanded goals up there in Boston. The Panthers begin the night 6 points behind the Bruins for 8th, and Florida's played 2 less games, and those 2 teams will play 3 more times this season, including 2 here in Sunrise.
My daughter lives in Boston, so I can certainly empathize with all of the Bostonians with the amount of snow you've had. So I hope all of your families are safe.
Yeah, boy, they got up to, over the course of time, 70 inches of snow. It's dangerous.
It is. That's the point.
Bolesky left it to the point. Moshman moved over, threw one wide. Ekblad trying to get there. Bolesky chipped it. Bouncing around now at the dot. And Kessler fed it back, but all the way out.
Well, you take advantage of what's going on. The Anaheim Ducks are not in sync. I mean, you got players running into one another in the offensive zone. That's not smart. And then a pass to the defenseman, and that defenseman, Cam Fowler, was exiting to get a line change while the puck was in the offensive zone and his team had possession. That's when things are not going real well. And for the Panthers, they just want to keep it that way.
Off the draw comes to Petrovic. And now Boys in the corner, back up the boards. Petrovic sent it around. Cam Fowler there for Anaheim. Knocked down by Barkov. Picked up by Huberdeau. Barkov and Huberdeau again. Huberdeau plays it around the wall. Barkov charges his man. Now the Ducks able to get out. This is the veteran Rene Bourque. The pass for Raquel. The shot went wide. High hop off the glass. Settled down by Barkov. Tucks to the head for Huberdeau. Boys leads the charge and shoots in. Barkov quickly after it, but Lovejoy played around the boards. Steven Kampfer, third game as a Panthers, played well. The call up with Willie Mitchell out of the lineup. Here's Kampfer at the point. Huberdeau again, knocked away and cleared.
Gerard Gallant told me this morning he's very happy with that pair. Petrovic shows some signs of playing a physical game. Quick to make the pass, doesn't get nervous, and Kampfer's got great wheels. And has the green light to go, but already has enough experience in this, and he played with Boston. Understands not to be going all the time.
He's always been an offensive defenseman.
Yeah, got the wheels for it.
And the good thing with Gerard Gallant, you're in the lineup, you're going to play. Yep. He uses everyone.
Well, he actually had Kemper out there killing a penalty in the first period.
Hayes on the forecheck along with Jokinen and Bjugstad, and they work it free. Lovejoy and Hayes to the boards. Now it's Jackman. Jokinen steps in, but Jackman fed it over to Eric Brewer. Pagliano throws it wide of Luongo's net. Jackman and Campbell at the end boards now. Only one shot 3 minutes into the period on goal. It belongs to Florida. Huberdeau takes away. Huberdeau to center. Huberdeau is in. Cross ice. Carries all the way to the wall. Huberdeau down low. One more time. Sweeps it on goal. Saved by Bryzgalov. Ekblad with a shot blocked away in front. Huberdeau knocks it free. Huberdeau shoots. Bryzgalov the save. Impressive effort tonight by Huberdeau. He has been strong. And the Ducks forced to ice it. Fans catch the Panthers as they battle for a playoff spot at the BB&T Center. Whether it's a night out with family or friends, we've got the right ticket package for you. 15 of the final 22 games this season here in Sunrise. Go to FloridaPanthers.com and join us. Perry throws it ahead. Too far for Getzlaf. Cut off by Goodbranson. Dave Bolin there to receive the pass. Up ahead, Bergenheim tips it in. Bergenheim, good shoulder on Beauchemin. Fleischmann joins in. Bergenheim and Fleischmann continue to work. Poked on goal. Bryzgalov got a stick on it. Now it's Bolin giving to Goodbranson. Back again, Bolin. Down low, Bergenheim. The pass in front stolen by Beauchemin. Fleischmann checks him. So Bergenheim taking the spot on this line with Bolin and Fleischmann, a Brandon Peary who left on the first shift with an injury. That puck rolled on Fleischmann. Getzlaf to center, ahead for Perry, and he flips in.
I'll tell you what, I could just feel the linesman's arm about to go up. Looked like the Florida Panthers may have been caught for too many men on the ice. Except that McKenzie never took that extra stride.
Petrovic stepped in front of Palmieri to keep it alive. Now it's Thornton up high. They give to Kampfer. Lets one go. Carries wide. Palmieri again. Checked by Thornton. Kessler cleans it up. Jokinen here grabbing the extra shift with Thornton and McKenzie.
Good turnaround play. Yeah, sorry. Good turnaround play there, Goldie, in the defensive zone by Kempfer. Gets the puck. Moves it quickly.
Look out. Ducks. Yeah. Kessler with Pileski. Pileski shoots, deflected wide. Ekblad got a stick on it. Cleared all the way down.
Panthers are going to have to be careful. We talked about one miscue that almost cost him a bench minor just a shift before. Remember now, Peary is out of the lineup. So the fact is, there's going to be a lot of line changes and a lot of different combinations being used by the coach. So players have to be really conscious of that.
Here comes Huberdeau moving in. The back pass, Ekblad. He fires and scores! What a rush! 3-0. It's that guy again, Aaron Ekblad, Denny.
Who? Yes. Well, I tell you what, he does it beautifully. You watch left side of your screen. He sees here an opportunity only because of the amount of white ice is there. You've got a lazy comeback by Rakul, the centerman, who is a little lazy on the comeback, does not pick up Ekblad, and therefore Ekblad just sees a whole bunch of openings there. A big piece of the ice that he can cover and makes himself an available target. And on that odd man rush, it's an easy play for Huberdeau.
I'll tell you what, how about Huberdeau sticking with her at center ice to work that puck free. I got to tell you, I think, and we're not even halfway through the game, and forget the points, he's got 2. This is the best game I think Jonathan Huberdeau has played this year. The best 25 minutes he's played. He's been super. Here are the Ducks now on a delayed penalty on the Panthers, though, in the offensive zone, and just like that, the next shift, Anaheim will get a power play, Denny.
And there might be 2 calls on this play. They're going to talk about it, but there was another arm up down low unless it was on the same play.
Well, let's see. Really good point.
There's 2 penalties on the play. The first one's 27. Florida, 2 minutes hooking.
Number 3, Florida, 2 minutes.
So the Panthers get it. It's going to be 5-on-3 for the Ducks. There was a penalty against Bukestad late on that call. Really unfortunate for the Panthers.
Well, you'll see the arm is already up on this play right here. The arm is up for the first penalty, and then you'll see the call. That's the first one, and then there's a second call on Kempfer, and he is then called for holding. So all of a sudden, it's a 5-on-3 situation. And folks, take a look at the change of goaltenders. Wow. What a time to make a change of goaltending.
So John Gibson is in. He was called up today with Frederick Anderson hurt, and they've seen enough of Bryzgalov, who allowed 3 goals on 8 shots. There's the young Gibson, but right now it's Anaheim on a 5-on-3 power play advantage.
I want to try and figure this out. Why now in the goaltending change?
Big PK coming up for Florida. Here's Kessler and Corey Perry. Kessler again fakes the shot. Vatanen. Getzlaf looking in front. Could Branson block the lane? Now put in front, tipped away. Kessler on it again. Good Branson battling in front with Maroon. Getzlaf looking. Knocked away by Derek McKenzie.
Well, for all of those of you who played hockey in your basements, just watch Good Branson. He's doing the same thing on his knees right now, and it's extremely effective.
And the puck comes out of the zone again. And Good Branson, Kulikov, and Bolin, the 3 right now for Florida. Bolin strong on the puck, but they work it free to Ryan Getzlaf. He waits. Holding. Down low, couldn't find his man. Back again for Kessler. Here's Vatanen in front of Perry's stick. Halfway through the 5-on-3, Perry shoots Luongo to save. His first of the period, the first shot on goal, and the 23,000th save of Luongo's career right there.
Here's what happens 5-on-3. Just stop it right there. Watch the triangle. Sometimes that is even more effective than 5-on-4 because the passing lanes become even tighter. And you can see where the hesitation is there. The pass is made. The Branson gets a stick on it. Sometimes 3-on-5 can almost be more effective. And the Panthers have showed that right there. They keep the passing lanes tight and not available. Another good play by Campbell there.
Blocked the centering attempt. Ducks reset. Cam Fowler. Palmieri. The shot there. Another save by Luongo. Those are the first 2 shots of the period for the Ducks. Out in front. Here's Palmieri. And it went in under the crossbar. 3-1 game power play goal.
And you know, if the Panthers hold their position, there is no play. Campbell went for the fake. He went for the fake, and that was what broke that triangle that makes it so difficult to get the puck through. You'll see Campbell right here, 51. He goes down and turns his back on the play. Now it opens up a passing lane, and the play is made. Again, down low, and the play gets open. You just don't want to be able to turn your back on any play. Never. And that particular turnaround just opened up the lane enough. Bolin almost got the puck intercepted, but it didn't happen. So the power play goal now gives the Anaheim Ducks their first goal of the game.
Now a 1-man advantage and a 5-on-4 power play for Anaheim. Raquel for Bolesky. Panthers did the job to start that power play, the 5-on-3 on Perry and Getzlaf, but Palmieri gets his 11th of the year, a turnover there.
That's a real tall task, 2 full minutes, 5-on-3 though. Did a good job for most of it.
And remember, without Willie Mitchell in the lineup, he's a factor in the Panther PK. Here's Raquel as the power play ends. The shot by Beauchemin deflected through the slot. So now we're even strength. 3 of the 4 goals in this game, 2 by Florida, 1 by Anaheim, have been scored on the power play. Bjugstad running through center. Gets over the line. Jokinen takes over. Down low, Bjugstad gets hit hard by Fowler. Palmieri, who got the goal, clears it all the way down. It's going to be icing on the Ducks.
All right, well, the Florida Panthers, I tell you what, you will take that trade-off. 2 full minutes, down 2 men. Florida Panthers did an exceptional job all the way through, and the Anaheim Ducks did get themselves a power play goal. But boy, I tell you, the Anaheim Ducks have just put a string of games together where they have scored a power play goal in each of the games. I think it's like 13 of the last 15 games. They've had at least 1 power play goal.
Huberdeau works down low. The centering pass tipped away. Huberdeau with a pair of assists in this game. Same thing for Brian Campbell. Kulikov, Bjugstad, Ekblad, the goals for Florida tonight. Ekblad, by the way, is 31 points, so he ties for 3rd all-time for 18-year-old defenseman in scoring in NHL history.
Anybody's marking, I just want to correct my statement. It's 10 of the last 13 games. They've scored a power play goal in 10 of the last 13 games.
Boys.
I knew I had that note.
Out in front. Boys couldn't get a redirection on goal. Huberdeau now working again behind the net. Tipped away. Fleischmann on the ice. Swoops in. Fleischmann circles. Comes out in front. The shot. Gibson. His first save on in relief of Bryzgalov. Battle down low. Fleischmann wins the battle. Puts it in front, but Bolin couldn't get a stick on the shot. Gibson, his 5th game this season. He's played well. Up-and-coming young goalie. A .927 save percentage for the Ducks.
Yeah, but he's only played 4 games, and he's only played 11 games in the American League. He was stricken with mono this year, missed a bunch of the year. I just am not quite sure why the goaltending change was made at the time that it was made. I mean, yeah, there were 3 goals on each shot, but it was just before the beginning of a 5-on-3 power play.
Yeah, they let it go one more shift, and that's when the 2 penalties called by the Panthers. Maybe Boudreau saw, hey, maybe we can get a goal back, which is what happened, and changed the goaltender and settled the game down. Bruce Boudreau, fairly often unconventional behind the bench.
You know what, this is my opinion, but given what's gone on, they had 4 goaltenders that have games in the season. I thought Gibson was going to start the game. Bryzgalov doesn't have any kind of numbers that can impress anybody, and the decision, in my view, was weak to start him anyway.
Midway through the game, the Panthers leading the Ducks 3-1. Aaron Ekblad cranks up his 9th of the year. Panthers with a 3-1 lead on the Anaheim Ducks. Let's go down to Billy.
Roberto Luongo's faced a lot of shots in his career, and he's made a lot of saves. He's seen more rubber than a dead raccoon on I-95 over the years, and the numbers, Marty Brodeur, all-time save leader. Roberto Luongo now over 23,000 saves. Continues to climb that list. Wow, Joseph, pretty impressive company. And number 5 on that list, John Van Beesbrook, the ex-Panther goaltender. Roberto Luongo, 35 years of age and still going strong.
And you see Ed Belfour, another former Panther on that list.
And you know what, I want to clarify something. You saw those names, all big names, but started by Marty Brodeur. Has to do more with longevity than having bad defense.
Palmieri right out of his own zone off the faceoff, and Fowler joins the rush. He has the puck deflected away by Brian Campbell and out of play. Be there as NASCAR drops the flag on the 57th season of the Great American Race. It's the Daytona 500, Sunday, February 22nd at noon Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Off the draw, deflects and rolls on goal. Luongo grabs with the glove. Bukestad and Kessler in the face-off circle here.
Yeah, Kessler's good.
Yeah, he's solid at it, isn't he?
Well, that's the big addition for that team, you know, in terms of solidifying their spot for playoffs, which they have now already. But in the playoffs, where the top teams...
Bukestad with a steal, comes in front, couldn't get a shot on goal.
Need to have that depth at center.
Well, that was a great out by the Panthers in their own zone with Ekblad and Bukestad. And the clear. Jussi Jokinen now fires up high. He has Campbell. Puts it in front, deflected away by Fowler. And Bolesky lifts it all the way down. The Ducks will go for a change, as will the Bukestad line for Florida. McKenzie now on, along with Bergenheim. They're offside on the break-in. Bergenheim was a step early.
And Denny, 1 point, I think maybe they changed the goaltender and went to Gibson. It was a 5-on-3 power play, and Getzlaf and Perry had been on the ice. And then maybe just to buy a little extra time, take Bryzgalov out of the net, put Gibson down there. Instead of using a timeout, I think they put Gibson in there to buy a little extra time for their top power play unit.
Well, he's still in goal, Billy. So
yeah, he's still in goal, but Well, Brizgalov wasn't having a good night either, but
You guys are being kind to the Briz. I mean, he was bad.
I'm not being kind to him. I can say his numbers, I just couldn't figure out. He's only played in 7 games this year, Brizgalov. Numbers are horrendous. And the fact is, I mean, he's got a save percentage of .859. So why the loyalty to him when, you've got 4 guys who have played, LaBarbera also.
Bergenheim in front, but Vatanen able to clear it away.
And all the time, when you see a young player being brought up, you see this so often with the Florida Panthers, they're going to play him. They're going to play him a lot.
Raquel with the steal. Jackman trying to get out in front. Petrovic played it well. Loose now in front. Right in the crease. Luongo's down. Where's the puck? It's side of the net. No whistle as there's a pile of players down, and Camphor gets to center for the Panthers. Oh, boy.
this will be reviewed on the TV timeout. I had a perfect angle at ice level at the post. It went right on the goal line, so this will be reviewed.
We'll wait for a whistle for that. Cogliano now, the point shot, glove save Luongo. They look at every goal, every near goal, anything close. And you know what, this scramble, they'll look at that. The other way, Thomas Fleischmann had himself a look on the Fox Phantom, Ken. Luongo holding down the fort, guys. The Ducks came close about a minute ago.
Right on the goal line. And you're going to see, just on the left side of your screen, pay attention to that puck right there. Yeah, Denny. And the hand, was that Huberdeau again that reached in?
Oh, boy.
Whew. Dangerously close.
Let's move on. Face off in the corner. Happy about that.
Had a perfect vantage point right here.
Well, of course, closing the hand on the puck in the blue paint is not a good thing either, but that didn't happen. I
Huberdeau
swear
clears.
that didn't happen.
Yeah, head to Boys, and Barkov's in! Barkov to the backhand! Oh, yeah! Three-point night for Huberdeau, and what a finish by Barkov!
What's happened to Barkov since Christmas? I mean, there must have been some great presents under the tree. Maybe a new stick, not a new pair of hands. We knew he had that. A terrific pass to Barkov, who was streaking down the middle. Boy, Brad Boyes seemed to me he has settled this youngster down. That is just a superb play, considering the fact that puck just kept rolling on him. I thought for a moment he would have lost it there. You just see flipping up, but a great play by the youngster Barkov. Really a strike in terms of a pass through the neutral zone by the veteran boys.
6 goals and 13 points in the last 16 games for Barkov. Maybe it's just a matter of time, Denny. 19 years old, now starting to get his feet wet a little bit. Here comes Fleischmann, 2-on-1 with Bolland. Fleischmann shoots, save, rebound, score! Bolland!
I'll tell you what, you talked about why the Anaheim Ducks are only a plus 15 in goal differential with 75 points and leading the Pacific Division. Because when they're bad, they're really bad. They have allowed 6 or more goals 3 times this season. One of them to the Florida Panthers back in November, and they're well on their way now to doing the same thing. 5 goals on the Ducks, and we're barely through. Well, we got 7 minutes remaining, a little less in the second period, and the Panthers are just shooting at will.
And to your point, Denny, in the 13 regulation losses for the Ducks, they've been outscored 62-23. In their 20 losses, they've been outscored 77-36. Yeah. When they go down in flames.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Panthers are really taking it to them now. I mean, the finish by Florida has been outstanding tonight. They've had the looks. They've been able to finish it off. 2 goals in 22 seconds there for the Panthers. Bolland, goal and an assist tonight. Boyes with 3 points tonight. Campbell with a pair of points. Well, the Panthers wish they'd play Anaheim a little more often, wouldn't they?
Just over a game and a half, and they've outscored Anaheim 11-3 on the season.
So Barkov, his 8th from Boyes and Huberdeau, and then Bolland, his 3rd Fleischman got the initial assist, and the Panthers, after the Ducks got one back, have just rubbed some salt in the wound. It's a 5-1 Florida lead. And boy, is Huberdeau having himself a night for Florida. They got 3 on Brizgalov and 8 shots. They've added 2 more on 4 shots against Gibson. Here's Bukestad in the slot. He rips one high. Bukestad with a steal. Hayes is tripped up. Hayes pops back up. Ekblad at the point. Now to Jokinen. So the Panthers, after wins over the Islanders and Kings, and then a tough shootout loss to Nashville, Denny, have responded beautifully here tonight.
Well, I tell you what, they just didn't have quite the killer instinct against Nashville. They paid for it, so maybe they've learned something that is being used in this hockey game.
Number of Panthers with multi-point games tonight. Huberdeau, by the way, now with 14 points in his last 15 games. The Panthers are cooking on home ice. The last one, Dave Bolland on the rebound. Beats Gibson. A big number, a multi-point game. 1-1 tonight for Dave Bolland, Denny. How'd they execute the last goal?
Yeah, that Bolland started the game against Getzlaf, and he wants to make a point. He's now outscored him. All right, stop it right here. Wait till you see this pass right through the zone by Goodbranson, and then you'll see the white jerseys all getting caught. Look at that pass, and I tell you what, Brewer, the number 2 in white, got caught badly there. The shot, stop it here. Notice how the shot creates the rebound. That's 2 scoring opportunities, and Bolland puts it away. That is what we're talking about hockey. That is eating up real estate with a strong pass by Goodbranson coming out of your zone, and then the shot on goal. No decision. You didn't see any hesitation. Fleischman has been playing well, thinking well, got the shot, and the best pass in hockey developed for Bolland, and that was the rebound goal.
And talking about David Bolland, missed all that time with injury. Oh, this one skips over Luongo's glove and goes in. Oh, you do not see that very often. The Ducks get one back.
Oh, take a breather now. Louis, you don't want to make a game of this. This is a tough break. But Luongo wasn't squared to that puck. He tried to grab it with his glove. Of all pucks that are shot towards Roberto Luongo, I will say this is a mental mistake, because Roberto will typically just square to the shooter. Take a look what he's done here. He tried to glove it rather than get the whole body in front of it, which is what he would do against 99% of the shots that are directed towards him. On that particular play, he decided to just go with the glove, and it wasn't enough.
Now the Panthers take a penalty, I think. Or is it going to be the Ducks?
Yeah, it looks like Lovejoy is going to go there.
Denny, if there was a game to do that in, this might be the one for Luongo. Up 5-1.
So Lovejoy for the hold there.
All right, one more look at the goal. And you'll see the difference when I get a chance here. Roberto Luongo doesn't square himself with the body. He just tries to put the glove. You can see it good there from that angle.
Panthers set up off the face-off and the man advantage. They have 2 power play goals already. Huberdeau, Barkov, deflected out. See if the Panthers can get it right back here. Ducks taking the penalty on the next shift after the goal. Fowler got a piece of it, and now shorthanded. It's Ryan Getzlaf. Put it behind the net. Barkov fighting with Kessler, and Barkov again so strong. Wins the battle against the tough Kessler. Barkov to center. Barkov gives to Huberdeau, offside.
Barkov, you got to hit the guy in your backhand. It was Bukestad. Got locked in going into the zone. But what you got to love about what the Panthers are doing here while on the power play is the amount of speed that they've been able to generate between the blue lines. That's where you create the speed that makes it difficult for the opposing defenseman.
Campbell and Kulikov at the points. They scored the first power play goal. Campbell setting up Kulikov. 5 different goal scorers tonight for Florida. Couple of defensemen, 3 forwards, everybody getting into the act. Kulikov slides down. Free along the wall. Bolin, nice play, gives to Jokinen. Campbell.
Whoops.
Came out of the zone. Offside. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, 4 top 10 schools are in action in college basketball. As hockey turns its focus towards the playoffs, is the NHL turning its focus towards Las Vegas. The commissioner will speak. Plus NBA highlights with analysis from Hall of Famer Gary Payton. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, on Fox Sports 1. The glove, one of Bill Lindsay's favorite NBA players, I think, all time.
He's up there. John Stockton.
Okay.
That's my favorite. Yours?
Another point guard from the West Coast. I'm deferential to my good friend John Starks, the former Knick. Tim Hardaway as well. Kulikov, like him, cross ice to boys. Now Boland under pressure. Boland again, swings it up to the point. Campbell moved over. Holds it in. Boys again. Jokinen again, checked, stolen away by Perry. A lot of work there on the perimeter by the Panthers.
You hate that word in hockey, perimeter. I mean, that is about as good a word as diving, in my view. Perimeter.
I didn't say it as a positive.
I know.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There are words that don't belong in hockey. Diving and perimeter.
Bolesky down the wing. The shot deflected away by Barkov. Remember, the Panthers at 11 forwards. Brandon Peary got hurt in the first shift of the game. Won't come back. Barkov moves. Takes a shot. Gloved by Gibson, and he'll hold it.
Well, I tell you what, Gibson came in. John Gibson has not had a great year, but most of you, if you watch some of the playoffs, saw the tremendous accolade that this kid got in the playoffs, playing against the LA Kings. It was interesting, you know, you play the mental game. As a rookie in the playoffs, the coach of the LA Kings, Daryl Sutter, after a loss where Gibson played exceptionally well, Daryl Sutter said to the media, that kid John Gibson is the greatest goaltender I've ever seen. The next night, the LA Kings beat him for 5 goals and went on to win the hockey game, and of course went on to win the series. Little psychological play on a young goaltender may just have worked in that instance.
McKenzie hustles and tracks it down. Sharp angle shot. Gibson the save. Sean Thornton puts it in front. Batted on goal. Oh boy, Thornton in front for Jokinen, and Gibson stopped it.
But by all accounts, Gibson will be a very solid goaltender. He's certainly big enough, but we're not getting here a very good example of good defense. As you can see, both the defense, you've got Boschman and Fowler looking around like, where do I go? And eventually, the second puck ends up on the goaltender. Gibson is able to stop the play.
Bergenheim, Bolin, Fleischman. Nice move by Goodbranson, and gives to Bergenheim. Fleischman, with his assist here tonight, has a 4-game point streak now going. Well, he's perked up offensively. Dave Bolin, it's been good, sets up Fleischman. Shot skips wide off the stick. Bolin pops it back up high, but it rolls all the way down. Kulikov hustling. Getzlaff is there with him. Comes free to Maroon. Puts it in front. And Fleischman covers the slot well. And Bergenheim is patient for Kulikov. 1:30 to go here in the second. An offensive period. 3 goals for the Panthers, 2 by the Ducks in the period. Kessler gets over the Panther line. Campbell played that beautifully. Jokinen tries to clear. Palmieri holds in with a shot. That one took a bounce, and Luongo able to make the save. Finally cleared to center. And the puck was touched with a high stick, so we get a stoppage.
It's not really the time to start talking all that much about trades, but then again it is, because it's coming up pretty soon, early in March. And Bruce Boudreau And the Anaheim Ducks have made it pretty clear they're looking for defense. And I think tonight we're looking at a lot of breakdowns. You know, they went and got a couple of defensemen. Eric Brewer, a veteran, got him from Tampa Bay. He's -3 tonight. Ben Lovejoy, you might remember him as playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was acquired by the Anaheim Ducks, and he's a -3. And, of course, young Ken Fowler having a tough night as well. The point I'm making is that a lot of rumors Anaheim is in the market for a defenseman.
Here comes Raquel with a backhander. Luongo got the goal stick on it. Huberdeau with the 3-assist game has the puck.
One of those names that I find interesting is the kid in Buffalo, Myers, who had such a terrific rookie year and has been somewhat different in the next couple of years at Buffalo rebuilding.
Huberdeau, another super play to hold it in the zone. Huberdeau, pass or shot, whatever that was, deflected. He just tried to get it in front before changing. Ducks look for one more chance with 15 to go, but Campbell is there for Florida. Ekblad has a goal tonight, shoots it to the Ducks line. Fed the other way, and this will be an icing, so another face-off back in the Anaheim zone.
So we'd be talking a lot about, trade possibilities. Anyway, that's one of the things that you might look for. I mean, I think that young Myers might turn into a very good defenseman in a different venue. He certainly has all the individual skills. You talk about your Goldie, but I just want to finish my thought. A different venue. We take a look at the difference in Goodbranson's play.
Face-off win. One more shot just went wide from Kampfer. Boys with a clean win. And Steven Kampfer had a good look there to end the second period.
Goodbranson's play, since now working with Mitchell, now working in a position where he is asked to be much more of a giver on the ice, has responded really well. And Goodbranson had an amazing pass on the Bolin goal. That one pass, I must have gone 85 or 90 feet. Strike to Fleischmann, who then turned it into a shot on goal, rebound, and a goal scored by Bolin.
4 Panthers with multi-point games, 5 different goal scorers, and Drew, they'll go to the third, up by 3 on the Ducks.
Goldie, it's been a fun game to watch so far, and coming up on the Lexus Intermission Report, we're going to go around the NHL and check out some scores and highlights from around the league. Plus, we'll take a look at the Demonstrator trademark on that one, and we'll have all the stats and highlights from a very exciting second period of play. Goldie, back to you.
What trademark?
Wasn't that yours, Goldie?
I came up with that many moons ago when we were both young men, Podman.
I was giving you credit for it.
Oh, thank you, Drew. I appreciate that. Panther fans appreciating this one tonight. A 5-2 Florida lead after the second. Panthers hockey on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southeast Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. The Panthers with Sean Thornton back in the lineup. That's an intense man right there. The 19-year-old Aaron Ekblad has one. 4 other Panthers have scored in the game. And the Cats will go to the third, up 5-2 on the Ducks.
I think I know why.
We go to the third. Gerard Gallant's Panthers up 5-2, and the player he coached in junior hockey, Jonathan Huberdeau, sets a career high in assists for his career. It's only his 3rd year. He's got 3 tonight, and he matches his career high in points for a season. That came during the 48-game season as a rookie. He's already done. He surpassed his point total for all of last year.
Sorry for the quick jump on the gun, Goldie. I wanted to make the point that I think that one of the reasons why this line is working so well is the fact that Huberdeau, Barkov, and Boys have gotten chemistry from a time ago now. Yeah, I tell you what, on the Barkov goal, it was just excellent play. Pass out of the zone.
Put it right in front of the Panther net. Luongo finds it and covers.
Good pass out of the zone by Huberdeau, and then the strike, Boys to Barkov to send him in clear on the breakaway. So that line has really found a tremendous amount of chemistry, and as you mentioned, Huberdeau having one of his best nights.
5 different goal scorers for the Panthers. Kulikov, Bjugstad, Ekblad. They made it 3-0. After the Ducks got one back, Barkov and Bolin added to it. By the way, Fleischmann with an assist tonight. 4-game point streak and the 300th point of his career. Turnover here, Bolin for Fleischmann, for Bergenheim. He couldn't tee it up. Boy, Dave Bolin This is probably the best game he's played as a Panther this season. He has been so strong tonight. Tough side of the net, and Gibson will cover.
You know, and Bolin on this particular play, the lines are all mixed up, but Bolin takes a short shift, but not before he creates the pressure that turns over the puck. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Bergenheim was fishing for it, looking for that quick backhand. It just never came. But again, the pressure on the Anaheim defense, they must be making them look worse than they really are, because they're having a tough time tonight on the Anaheim defense. And nobody's spared.
Vatanen carried in. They're offside, though. Less than a minute into the third.
We talked about a couple of veteran defensemen that Bruce Boudreau has in the lineup. Eric Brewer and Lovejoy having a particularly tough night, but typically they're not going to play against the top line. So you've got to give credit again to the fact that the Florida Panthers have brought what Bruce Boudreau has said, an unexpected amount of speed, more speed than Anaheim thought they had. And then, of course, the third and fourth trios also contributing.
Loose puck here, thrown on goal. Luongo makes a big stop.
So
Ekblad blocked that puck and seemed to be shaken up for a moment there.
So as has been the strength of the Florida Panthers, being able to use all four lines, particularly tonight when you lose one of your players, Peary, early in the first period, has certainly benefited the Florida Panthers to get consistent play one line after another.
Panthers built the lead with a pair of power play goals early on. Last 8 games, they've got 7 power play goals, including a game with 3 and here tonight with 2, the only 2 multi-goal games of the season. The power play is perked up for Florida. Campbell in his own end. Plays for Boys. Remember, the Panthers lost Brandon Peary on the first shift of the game, upper body injury. He will not return. Palmieri able to get it ahead. Here comes Bourque down the wing to the forehand, wide. Lovejoy has it stolen away by Nick Bjugstad. And Jokinen. Lead pass broken up. Raquel knocked away by Jokinen. And here comes Hayes, trying to gather it in. It rolled on him just a bit. Gets to the forehand, sets up Jokinen, takes a shot that's blocked away by Raquel. And Smith-Pelly try to shoot in. He races after with Petrovic. Kampfer gets back. And Steven Kampfer gets it to Jokinen. Panthers chased Ilya Bryzgalov, the starter. 3 goals on 8 shots against them. They've got 2 more on 8 shots against Gibson. Corey Perry behind the net, looking to get out in front. Cut off nicely by Petrovic.
Denny, how many times have we seen the Anaheim defensemen get caught tight to the boards and not protect the middle of the ice?
Well, Billy, I know they're having a really tough night. I think a lot of it is the speed of the Panthers. It seems like they get surprised a lot. Well, the Anaheim defense don't seem to have a great feel for what the Panthers are going to do.
Vatanen holds it in, centering feed. Oh, Luongo with a big glove save there on Ryan Getzlaf.
Well, he just got it back, Billy. He gave Anaheim a goal in the second period on the bad bounce, but he just took it back on that play. I tell you what, that was a turnover in a bad place as Huberdeau was going up the ice. That was top shelf by one of the top scorers in the NHL. Matter of fact, 6th overall in the NHL, Getzlaf. That was labeled, as they say. So Roberto got the goal back for his team.
What a great camera look, too. You just see it just caught the very, very top of his glove.
Fowler point shot wide. Vatanen controls. Sammy Vatanen puts it in front, rolls in the blue paint, and kicks off to the corner. Cogliano. Vatanen shot blocked by Bergenheim. And it's scooped up by Fleischmann. 3-on-1. Fleischmann moving in front. The pass to Bolin. Oh, what a stop with the glove by John Gibson on Dave Bolin, looking for his second of the game.
I tell you, there's a lot of people that feel this kid's going to become some kind of a goaltender. Look at that save. I tell you, the glove has been more important to both these goalies than any other piece of equipment in this period. Roberto, a big save on Getzlaf. And look at this one on Bolin. Bolin is looking at a fabulously open net.
Face-off win. Campbell puts it in front wide. Huberdeau. Knocked away. Boys for Ekblad. Shot from the point. Save. Gibson. It rolls in the blue paint. But the Ducks are away with it. Gibson had some trouble with that Ekblad shot. Aaron Ekblad's got one tonight. His 9th goal of the season for the now 19-year-old defenseman. Goals in back-to-back games since his birthday on Saturday for Ekblad. Good battle won by Florida. And Campbell floats it to the line. Huberdeau battling Lovejoy. And Lovejoy won that one and shot in.
Anaheim's in a tough stretch defensively, now giving up 29 goals in the last 7 games. And this one's not done. That's over 4 a game in the last 7.
I guess the rumors are not far off from being the truth, right? They're looking for defensive help. Trade coming up March 2nd.
Maroon with a shot, gloved by Luongo again.
Trade deadline, that is.
Come watch the Panthers take on the Montreal Canadiens at the official Panthers watch party. It's at the World of Beer in Kendall, Thursday, February 19th. The party starts at 6:30. Panthers with some road games coming up, and then 15 of the last 22 are here on home ice of the BB&T Center. Corey Perry's got the puck here, looking for a chance, but Ranson turned him away. Maroon behind the net for Getzlaf now along the wall. Loshman fires wide. Kulikov went down. Bolin trying to clean it up, and Luongo lost his mask. So that's a whistle. Luongo and Corey Perry, they know each other well from the Team Canada days. Little conversation.
Well, I tell you what, I mentioned in the second period, we had a picture of the young man. There's a lot of rumors, and that's what it is. I don't want to say that I'm breaking this one out. It's been talked about quite a bit. You know, the Buffalo Sabres all season long have been, you know, rebuilding under new general manager Tim Murray. And this kid, I tell you what, at 209-210, Tyler Myers was making every general manager and coach in the league salivate as how good he was. Had a bit of a breakdown after that. They call him the Big Easy. Maybe he's gone a little too easy in his game. I think he may need a little bit of refocusing. And if he were to be traded to a very good hockey team, Tyler Myers could become an excellent defenseman. So the rumor is that Anaheim's very interested in him.
He was unbelievable that rookie season. Never really found that form since. But that rookie year, he broke out, looked like he was going to be a world beater, was Tyler Myers.
I don't want to pull comparisons, but a long time ago, there's a guy named Zdeno Chara that was traded and went to Boston and really helped things turn around. Tyler Myers is 6'8".
That puck hit Maroon right in the head, side of the fin, in the ear where it's not protected, is deflected into the bench. Looks like he's okay with a little wry smile there. Panthers, good start in this game, and they've kept it going by converting on goal-scoring chances, trying for points in 4 in a row. Smith-Pelly knocks it down. Carries to the point and out of the zone.
You know, as you pointed out, Goldie, and then we talked about it earlier, so key to make your power play opportunities work for you. And it really does energize the bench. And, you know, we did get the power play success by the Florida Panthers early in the game. I think it's been a big key to the way the Panthers have been playing with confidence.
Petrovic and Kampfer again, they keep it simple, and they're able to get the puck ahead. A couple of call-ups by Florida. Playing as a pair, Willie Mitchell still out of the Panther lineup. We're back with you again from Minnesota on Thursday night, and in Dallas Friday, back-to-backs for the Cats.
Dallas still holding on to a lead in Boston, which is good news.
Minute 25 left, 1-goal game. We got a penalty here. Ekblad lost his helmet, and I believe this will be on the Ducks. The Panthers. 5-2 lead on Anaheim. Roberto Luongo on the Phantom Cam. Nice catch, Luongo. Panthers have a 5-2 lead. The Bruins tonight are losing. We'll tell you about that coming up. Let's go down to Billy.
We're having some fun tonight. Panthers playing some good hockey, and Roberto Luongo stopped 26 of 28 shots this evening. He has our ADT defensive play of the game. This was in this third period against Ryan Getzlaf. Coming down the slot, flashing a little leather, making it look easy. That's our ADT defensive play of the game, even though he gave up a soft one in the second period. He makes up for it there with a brilliant save against Getzlaf.
Look at Luongo with 24 saves on the night. The Panthers gave him great support offensively early, and now Florida back on the power play. It is now over in Boston. Stars 5, Bruins 3. The Panthers, with a win, can move within 4 points of a playoff spot. Lead to center. Ekblad up on the wing. Jokinen in the shoot-in. Dave Bolin, 2 points tonight with a goal and an assist. Boys for Campbell. Back around for Bolin again. Florida 2 power play goals already in the game. They move it quickly to Campbell, the one-timer. Gibson the save. Jokinen try to find the rebound, but it's Fowler. Pressured by Boys. Forces the turnover. But Jokinen gives it back, unfortunately, to Kessler, who called for the puck and may have fooled the veteran UC Jokinen. First-year Panther. Jokinen has fit in well, playing a variety of different positions this year. Bukestad leads the rush on the breakout. Barkov gathers it in. He's got a goal tonight. Matches his total of his rookie season last year with 8. But he's been hot of late. Steven Kampfer working on the power play here. Campbell takes a shot, deflected on goal by Barkov. Barkov again, using the body to shield the puck. Huberdeau able to scoop it up. Campbell takes a look, cross ice. Huberdeau waiting, moving, and shooting. The save by Gibson. The rebound was there for a moment.
It just came right out again. Brian Campbell had turned his back on the play. He missed the rebound. It was right there.
Jokinen cruises in, sets up Fleischmann for a shot, kicked out by Gibson. And the Panther power play about to end. Palmieri out of the box. Panthers put 4 shots on goal. Remains a 3-goal Florida lead.
It's a power play that didn't score, but I don't think they lost any momentum because it was a good power play as well.
Lovejoy turned it over. Fleischmann puts it in front. And back on it is Eric Brewer. Lovejoy shoots in. Next home game for Florida Sunday afternoon against the St. Louis Blues. 5 o'clock here at the BB&T Center. We're on the air at 4:30 on Fox Sports Florida. Boy, the Panthers close this out with sweep the season series from the Ducks. Coming in tonight, Panthers were 8-3-2 against that Pacific Division. What a number they put up against that division. Steele, McKenzie. Huberdeau's going to the net. McKenzie couldn't quite hit him. It was picked off in front. Fowler trying to wait for some help off the bench, and he gets it from Palmieri, but the nice pickpocket there from McKenzie. Palmieri puts it in front. Kessler's backhand was deflected away. We approach the midway point of the third. All the goals came in the opening 2 periods. Palmieri down the wing. Palmieri's got a step and shoots, and Luongo may have gotten a piece of it as it rose up above the net. Continuous play now here in the third. And Getzlaf gets away. 3-on-2. Here's Maroon looking and shooting. Luongo with a save there. And then Maroon takes a good hit from Bolin. Getzlaf again. Brewer at the point with a wrister deflected up and out of play by Jimmy Hayes. 9:35 to go. Luongo one-on-one with Maroon. And Roberto able to win this one. top two young centers for the Panthers. Both have scored goals tonight, and Florida's got a 5-2 lead over Anaheim. Denny, let's go back and review your keys to the game. I think you did pretty well tonight.
Well, I tell you what, folks. It's time
look at this.
to have a nice smile.
Are those ears, by the way, that you put
we
on
got it done in every category. Used their speed. They were physical. They matched the physical play. And the Florida Panthers have dominated in every category that we hoped that they would. And by the way, physical play. Bolin and McKenzie leading in the hit parade for the Florida Panthers.
They didn't have art in your high school growing up, I don't think, did they?
I didn't get your head right, Billy.
No, you'd have to be big. You have to circle the whole screen to get my giant pumpkin in there. Kulikov, he is holding his teeth mouth area.
He's cut, and it's a penalty coming up on Anaheim. We'll see if this is 4 minutes on a high stick, guys.
Well, you take a look right there. This is
number 19. Double minor, high sticking.
You know, this is obviously not something that's intentional, as you can tell, but boy, it comes up really hard as Patrick Maroon gets his stick up in the face of Kulikov. He is hurt, and he went right to the dressing room.
Wonder if Kulikov's one of those players that wears a mouth guard. They're also with that occasion.
So, yeah.
So it's a 4-minute penalty now. The Panthers will go on their 6th and 7th power plays here.
And that's a correct call by the referee because of the injury.
Ekblad and Campbell up high. Laid down low. Bolin, Boyes, and Jokinen, the veterans up front for Florida. 2 power play goals already in the game, the first 2 of the game. Panthers built a 3-0 lead. They've really never looked back. 5 different goal scorers tonight. Campbell with a pair of points. Around it goes for Bolin. He's got 2 as well. Bolin moving in. Bolin will shoot high over the net. Campbell settles it down. Full control for Florida on the man advantage now. Bolin again for Boyes. Boy, Bolin's had a whale of a night.
I think you made a very good point. He hadn't played a lot of hockey in the last couple of years, and now starting to put a bunch of games together.
You know, it's interesting. He played for Joel Quenneville in Chicago. And one thing Joel Quenneville said about Dave Bolin, when the games and the stakes get higher, Dave Bolin plays better. And we're kind of seeing that now as we get into more of a crunch time of this season. He's been good about the last month and a half.
Now, the obvious question is, why didn't they keep him? Well, they had a terrible cap situation in Chicago at the time.
Huberdeau has it knocked down at the line, but there to play is Kampfer down the board, stolen away.
After winning the first cup, the Chicago Blackhawks dropped 9 players, I believe it was, of the Stanley Cup team so that they could somehow get to the cap and keep their core.
Few of them are still on the Winnipeg Jets. Bufflin and Ladd in particular. Made that trade with the Thrashers at the time. Here's Kampfer as the first power play on the double minor for the high stick winds down. Barkov to Huberdeau. Good Branson. Let's fly. Misses wide. Carries to Kampfer. Puts it in front. Score! Jimmy Hayes. And that's a half dozen.
I mean, that's got to hurt. Anaheim, we talked about when things don't go well, they really don't go well for the leading team in the Pacific Division with 75 points. Just never had a chance in this game. The second goalie and not going any better for Gibson.
How about all the Ducks just chasing the puck?
Yeah.
All 3 of them went after the puck. Left Jimmy Hayes wide open.
Well, Hayes had to be in his spot in front of the net, and he was. And now 3 goals in his last 4 games. Got a 2-point night tonight. And Steven Kampfer with his first assist as a Florida Panther. And look at that power play, guys. How it's just completely flipped around after the All-Star break.
8 power play goals their last 8 games. They had 7 power play goals their previous 28 games before that.
Hayes with his 16th of the year. Remember, he scored 2 against the Islanders a few games ago.
Good to see young Kampfer involved on the power play, too. Again, you know, these are well-thought-out choices by the coaching staff. He's an offensive player. Give him a chance to have a little offense.
Goodbranson has a 2-point game going. He got an assist. Ekblad, how good was that right there? Nifty with the puck. So the Panthers work on their 7th power play of the night. They're 3 for 6. They beat the Ducks 6-2 earlier this year, Billy. They're up 6-2 now again against them.
And that ties the most goals at home against the Ducks. You got to go back to November 21st, 2001, when they had a 6-spot against the Ducks at home.
Well, were you in that game, so you felt compelled to mention it? Did you get one that night, Billy? Or?
I don't think I got one.
Maybe a helper, second helper?
Something along the line. Look at this goal. Pay attention to the Anaheim Ducks, and you can just roll this play. But watch the 3 players chase. All 3 players, and then watch Eric Brewer, number 2. Doesn't have a stick on the ice, just looking around. You talk about giving up in a hockey game.
Sorry to jump in there, but I tell you, the frustration is huge, right?
It's beyond right now. Yeah. They've just given up. Anaheim's just shut it down.
Well, the veteran Boschman had a 2-minute unsportsmanlike, and then he goes after the referee, and then gets a 10-minute misconduct and a game. He's out.
I believe that's one like the old college basketball coach when you're down by 20 with 5 minutes left, gets thrown out on purpose. I think Boschman's had enough tonight. That's my personal opinion.
The veteran just get out.
That's enough. Send the message to the team, I'm still involved.
Well,
so Palmieri will serve the penalty, Denny.
That's why he's going to the bench to serve the penalty. And Boschman
got Sean Thornton on the 5-on-3.
How about that with McKenzie, Bolin, Kampfer, and Goodbranson? Why not? McKenzie won the draw. Kampfer to Goodbranson has 2 points already tonight.
Well, that's also showing respect for the opposing team and coach.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Kampfer, Goodbranson, one-timer. Went wide. McKenzie over to Bolin. What a night for the Panthers, on their way to points in 4 in a row. Goodbranson. McKenzie. Gibson got a stick on it. Thornton hustles over to play it. Bolin now has the puck. Out in front, McKenzie couldn't chip it on net. Hammered all the way down.
I'll tell you what, I could go down the list, but the 3 guys on that power play forward line, McKenzie, Bolin, and Thornton, they've already established that they were so big in this victory in the early parts of the game. And they're getting rewarded with a little power play time. Unfortunately, unable to connect, but the Thornton fight came right after the first goal by the Florida Panthers. Had that fight gone differently, maybe the game would have gone differently.
Barkov for Bukestad, just off his stick. He was checked to the stick at the last moment.
Bolin and McKenzie, 1-2 in the hit department against the Anaheim Ducks. And we talked about being able to handle the physical play of the Anaheim Ducks. And those 2 guys right there on your screen led the way. A couple of veterans that did exactly what they knew needed to be done against a very big, powerful team, the Anaheim Ducks.
Got to give you credit on the keys. You were right on, Denny, tonight.
Despite that terrible smiley face picture you drew.
Smiley face picture, but the keys, you banged it perfectly tonight.
We know he knows hockey, but what was that picture? Seriously.
That's the best I could do, guys.
Hey, guess what? Still better than me.
I can't draw hair or, you know.
We're using the pens or the fingers because the size of your fingers and hands,
maybe
those sausage fingers that you have, those things are huge. Those are hard to draw with.
You know what? That's good advice. I'm going to go with a pencil from now on.
Okay.
See, Denny, you could have gotten away if you said I was trying to draw Van Gogh. It was only one ear on that picture. See, guys, I know a little bit about something cultural.
Yeah, you're really artistic.
Yeah, that's about it. I met my quota there. Ekblad is in with a quick shot. And Getzlaf ahead for Perry. They funnel it out to center. The power plays are done for the Panthers now. We are even strength all the way in is Brewer. Hit the outside of the net. 5-on-5 play. Clock rolls under 4 minutes to go. Chance here, Palmieri, stopped by Luongo. Half a dozen goals for the Panthers. Half a dozen different goal scorers tonight for Florida. Kulikov and Ekblad from the blue line. Bukestad, Barkov, Bolin, and Hayes up front.
Oh, there's good news right there. Sorry, Billy, but Kulikov's back on.
That is great news.
Yeah.
Goldie, I just wanted to add to your point on Dave Bolland having a big night. You said he gets better at crunch situations. His playoffs numbers, 67 games. He's got 17 goals and 43 points, including a cup-winning goal.
Oh, in the playoffs, yeah. That was Joel Quenneville's comment about David Bolland. Here's a shot. Luongo with another stop. And Dave Bolland is out to center. And Hayes joins him. So does Bergenheim. Bolland still with it. Plays it to the corner, but it's cut off. Bolland knocks it down. Bolland for Bergenheim. Back again for Bolland. Dave Bolland's up near 19 and a half minutes on ice here tonight as well.
You know, in review of this hockey game, a lot of things have gone well, so we can only hope that Brendan Peary is not going to be out for very long. He got hurt in the first shift, did not see any action, but we're hoping that that's just more precaution on the Florida Panthers' part than anything else.
Have been 11 forwards since 20 seconds into the game tonight.
Reported to us that it was upper body, wouldn't come back, but I'm understanding that it may not be long term.
That would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Peary had been red hot. Goals in 4 or 5.
You don't want to slow down those hot hands.
No way.
Offside there.
Shot deflects up and out of play. 1:54 to go, and the Panthers all over the Ducks, start to finish. It has been a solid effort. They got going on the power play with 2 in the first. Led 3-0. 5-1, and now here we are at 6-2, and look at that. A dozen of really the 17 players, Denny, since Bolland didn't really play in the game, a dozen players with a point and 4 with multi-point nights.
And I must again stress, 3 power play goals. That is key in my view.
It's the second time in the last 8 games the Panthers have put up 3 power play goals. Before that, they hadn't had more than 1 in any game this year. And I'll tell you what, down the stretch, I mean, that power play gets going. A huge factor for Florida. With this win, they will pull within 4 points of 8th in the East. Boston lost, and the Panthers still have 2 fewer games played than the Boston Bruins.
Exactly.
Well, a great way to come on out for the stretch run at the BB&T Center or any event. Is it a luxury suite, whether it's a business night or a night with your friends in the suite? Call 954-835-PUCK or hit the premium sales team via email.
Well, how about this? If you say that you're going to have 3 games and you're looking at the schedule, LA, Nashville, and Anaheim, you're going to go gulp? Well, the points now look like the Florida Panthers will get 5 points out of a possible 6 against those 3 teams all here on home ice.
Remember the game before that on Long Island. After the Panthers have been struggling, They lost the first 2 on that trip to the Devils and Rangers. They beat the Islanders 4-2, so 3-0-1 in the last 4. But you said this, Danny. I remember, you were a little disappointed in that post game as this puck hits the post. The Madison Square Garden, they had lost to the Rangers, giving up 3 in the third. Really had a chance. It was a 3-3 game.
Yep.
And you said, hey, the competition is now going to get tougher, but the Panthers raised their level. And you've been 100% right over the last week.
You get a sense that this Panther team likes the competition. And I'm not worried about them against good teams. The worry is that, as we have seen, they have played down to certain teams.
To get back to playing 60 minutes of hockey at least, complete games. Some of that slump they had, they were playing 45 minutes a period, taking a period off. Now tonight, another complete game, and this is an awesome victory.
And they're letting them know, the fans giving the Panthers a rousing ovation, a 2-0-1 homestand, complete with a domination over the Ducks for the second time this year. The Panthers, they sweep the series, beat Anaheim 6-2. Florida, 4 back now in the playoff race.
A dominant game by the Florida Panthers right from the beginning, scoring their first goal 5.5 minutes into the play on a power play by Kulikov, and the Panthers never looked back after that. As a matter of fact, just for good measure, another power play goal to end the night. That one by Jimmy Hayes at 12:44 in the third period.
Let's go downstairs to the desk as the Panthers clear the rats, salute the fans. Here's Drew.
Goldie, thank you very much. Plenty coming your way on Panthers Live postgame. We'll hear from head coach Gerard Gallant, Jonathan Huberdeau, and all of the stats and highlights from a great game to wrap up the homestand. Goldie, back to you.
I would look forward to it. Should be a pleasant locker room. And Coach Gerard Gallant has to be pleased. It seems like now maybe the Panthers, with those struggles in January for about 3 weeks, weathered the storm, and they've come out the other side.
One more little jab. When do you think the last time it was that the Florida Panthers have scored 6 goals against an opponent in consecutive games?
Oh, boy, you got me there, buddy.
Well, you don't like the answer. It was against the Boston Bruins in 2006, 2007. Florida Panthers, 2 consecutive games, scored 6+ goals. And I think I researched Austin Rosberg for that little tidbit to end a very good night.
Goal and an assist for the suddenly hot Dave Bolin, but he's got to get that. Come on, Bolin, get that stick over the glass there. There you go. Third star. Barkov remains hot, his 8th of the year. That was a big goal when Anaheim got the game to 3-1. He scored, but #1 star of the game to me, Denny. Best game of the season personally for Jonathan Huberdeau.
Well, you remember the goal by Barkov. Huberdeau was the one that took the heat along the boards inside the zone, made the play to Boyes, and then Boyes made that sharp pass to Barkov for the breakaway goal. It all started back in the Panther zone with Huberdeau making a good out pass.
Panther fans head out pleased. Florida trying for points in 4 straight games and trying to wrap up a homestand against the big boys in the West with 5 points out of a possible 6, and they get the job done. A balanced attack that scores 6 different players score. 3 goals on the power play. We'll discuss it all, show it all to you, and hear from the locker room at Panthers Live next.